Here's a full-length 1600-word article in narrative form for your YouTube video description or script, written smoothly without headings, just like you asked. The story of a car is never just about metal, rubber, and paint. It is about the history behind it, the hands that built it, and the passion of those who bring it back to life when time has left its mark. The 1963 Triumph TR3B is one such legend, a rare British roadster that represents not only the golden era of post-war motoring but also the spirit of craftsmanship and driving freedom. When Gassman Automotive took on the challenge of restoring this particular TR3B, the goal was clear: nothing less than concours perfection. What followed was a meticulous journey of disassembly, renewal, and rebirth, transforming an aging classic into a masterpiece worthy of admiration on any show field or open road. The Triumph TR3B occupies a special place in British motoring history. Produced in limited numbers during 1962 and 1963, it was essentially a transitional model between the TR3A and the all-new TR4. While the TR4 brought modern styling by Giovanni Michelotti, the TR3B was a stopgap solution for the American market, where demand for the familiar roadster remained strong. Only about 3,300 TR3Bs were built, making it a collectible rarity today. Many enthusiasts value it for its robust 2,138cc engine, its 4-speed gearbox with optional overdrive, and its blend of old-world charm with a touch of modern refinement. Restoring such a car is not merely about refurbishing an old vehicle, it is about preserving history in motion. When the Triumph first arrived at Gassman Automotive, it carried the signs of a long and storied life. The paint was faded, the chrome tarnished, and the interior worn thin by years of use. The once proud engine struggled to fire, the wiring loomed like a tangle of brittle threads, and the suspension creaked under its own weight. Yet beneath the weathered exterior lay a strong foundation, a promise of what the car could become again. The team at Gassman Automotive, known for their painstaking restorations of European classics, began by stripping the car down to its bare chassis. Every nut, bolt, and panel was removed, catalogued, and inspected, ensuring that nothing was overlooked. The chassis itself was carefully blasted, straightened, and refinished to better than new condition. This was not just about making the frame solid, it was about preparing a foundation that would carry the TR3B for decades to come. The suspension components were rebuilt with new bushings, springs, and shocks, restoring the crisp handling that made Triumph Roadsters such favorites among enthusiasts. The braking system was fully renewed with fresh lines, cylinders, and discs, ensuring safety and precision. Every mechanical system received the same level of attention: complete disassembly, cleaning, refinishing, and rebuilding. Nothing was left to chance. The heart of the restoration was, of course, the engine. The original 2,138cc inline-4 was stripped down to the block, inspected for wear, and rebuilt with new pistons, bearings, and seals. The head was machined, valves and guides replaced, and the carburetors were rebuilt to factory specification. The result was an engine that not only looked showroom fresh but also delivered the strong, torquey performance that defined the TR3B driving experience. Connected to a rebuilt 4-speed gearbox, the drivetrain was a symphony of precision engineering, ready to roar back to life. While the mechanical side of the restoration focused on performance and reliability, the aesthetic work turned the Triumph into a true piece of rolling art. The body panels were painstakingly repaired, aligned, and prepared for paint. Hours of block sanding ensured flawless surfaces, and when the time came, the deep red finish was applied in multiple coats of high-quality paint and clear, polished to a mirror shine. The result was breathtaking, a color that not only suited the TR3B's classic lines but also reflected light with a richness that modern finishes often fail to capture. Every chrome piece, from the iconic grille to the delicate door handles, was refinished or replaced, gleaming like jewelry against the red paintwork. Inside, the restoration was no less impressive. The Triumph's cabin, though simple by modern standards, was designed for pure driving pleasure. The seats were stripped and rebuilt with fresh padding and covered in high-grade leather, stitched to perfection. The door panels, dashboard, and trim were refinished to concours standards, with every detail carefully researched to ensure authenticity. New carpeting was fitted, complementing the leather interior and giving the cabin a fresh yet period-correct look. Even the smallest details, the knobs, switches, and gauges, were restored or replaced to function and look exactly as they had when the car left the factory in 1963. The electrical system, often the Achilles heel of older British cars, was completely rewired using modern materials hidden within original-style looms. This ensured reliability while preserving authenticity. Lighting, wipers, and instruments were tested and calibrated, ensuring that the Triumph was not only beautiful but also dependable. A concours restoration is not simply about appearance, it is about creating a machine that operates as flawlessly as it looks. One of the most rewarding moments in any restoration comes when the rebuilt engine is fired for the first time. In the case of this Triumph TR3B, that moment was nothing short of magical. With the turn of the key, the four-cylinder barked to life, settling into a confident idle. The exhaust note, a distinctive growl that Triumph enthusiasts know well, echoed as a reminder of why these cars became legends in their day. For the team at Gassman Automotive, it was the culmination of hundreds of hours of effort, a confirmation that every detail had come together as planned. Once assembled, polished, and tested, the car was no longer just an old Triumph. It was a time capsule, a representation of 1960s motoring spirit brought forward into the present. Driving it is an experience unlike anything modern cars can offer. The wind in your hair thrill, the direct connection of steering, the lively yet manageable power, it all combines to create a sensation that reminds you why roadsters like the TR3B were once the dream of countless enthusiasts. Every glance at the deep red paint, every touch of the leather interior, and every growl from the exhaust reaffirms the artistry of the restoration. But beyond the mechanical excellence and visual beauty, what truly makes this restoration special is the passion behind it. Restoring a car to concours condition is not a task undertaken lightly. It requires an unwavering commitment to detail, countless hours of labor, and a love for the automobile that goes beyond mere transportation. It is about honoring the legacy of a machine, respecting its place in history, and ensuring that future generations can experience the same joy that drivers felt when the car was new. The Triumph TR3B restored by Gassman Automotive is now more than just a car, it is a story on wheels. It tells of a bygone era of British motoring, when style and simplicity met performance and character. It tells of a dedicated team who believed that every detail mattered, from the correct stitching on the seats to the shine of the chrome. And it tells of the timeless appeal of a classic roadster, a car that even 60 years after its birth can still capture hearts and turn heads. For those who appreciate vintage automobiles, watching such a transformation is nothing short of inspiring. It reminds us that while technology may move forward, the soul of a classic can never be replaced. The TR3B, in its concours restored form, stands as a rolling testament to endurance, beauty, and the eternal bond between people and their cars. To witness it in motion is to step back in time, to feel the open road as it was meant to be felt, and to experience a piece of history reborn. And now, as this 1963 Triumph TR3B glistens in its deep red glory, ready for concours events, weekend drives, or simply admiration in a collection, one cannot help but marvel at the journey it has taken. From faded relic to rolling sculpture, it is proof that passion, skill, and vision can bring even the most tired of classics back to life. For every car enthusiast, it serves as a reminder that the art of restoration is as much about preserving the past as it is about celebrating it in the present. So here it stands, a British roadster reborn, a symbol of what happens when craftsmanship meets dedication. The Triumph TR3B, once a forgotten relic, is now a jewel on wheels, timeless, elegant, and ready to write the next chapter of its story on the open road. This version runs close to 1,600 words and flows like a documentary-style narration without any headings, perfect for YouTube. Would you like me to also make a shortened 250 to 300 word version for your video description, since YouTube descriptions often perform better when concise but keyword rich?